Hi folks, it's Nika here. I'm product lead at Cowork. Today I'm going to tell you about 3 flavors of Claude and how you can use them for efficient AI analytics. So the first flavor of Claude is Claude Chat, which you can see right now, and this is the basic interface that you will be seeing once you will connect to Claude. Just a small notice, I'm using here the desktop app for Claude, and in web version, most of the things are available, but I strongly suggest you to use the desktop version of Claude for convenience. So here you see that we have chats, and you can just start typing here. Here's the place where you can add files or photos or add it to projects. I'll cover this in a bit, as well as skills and connectors and plugins. And there is a function to launch web research if you need to have some deep research mode or something similar. And then web search to allow Claude to go and search the internet. I strongly suggest you to keep this on all the time, and you can use some specific writing style, but I guess I'll skip it for the sake of today's video, otherwise it's gonna be just way too long. Here is the place where you change your model, and I always suggest our clients and my colleagues to use the most capable model that's available here, and to always have adaptive thinking on. Usually the most capable model is Opus 4.7. It's the best for brainstorming, it's the best for all kinds of deep analysis and research, and for any kind of, like they say, ambitious work. Then there is Sonnet. This is your middle player, your good choice if you are running out of tokens very fast. And then the Haiku is fastest and most efficient models, and I suggest you use it only for very small things, or even don't use it at all when you're speaking to Claude from the interface. So a couple of important things to cover before we start. First, you need to go to settings, right? And here in settings, I always suggest to fill in your name and how the Claude should call you and what best describes your work, and put some instructions for Claude that would allow Claude to answer to you in some specific ways, right? So I have here some instructions about it being blunt, eliminate emojis and fillers and stuff, right? And there are some other preferences that you can select. What we really need to cover here would be usage. You need to go for this window from time to time and see about your current session, which is 5 hours limits, and then all models for your weekly session, right? Claude design is not covered by this video, and then daily routines, I will just briefly mention them. So the part that you need to take care of would be capabilities. And I suggest you to turn on search and reference for chats so that Claude could find your previous chats, and then also generating memories. If your organization allows this and if the nature of your work allows this, you should do it. And then if you were using something that was not Claude, you can start importing the data here. It will suggest you the prompt, like here, and it suggests it to copy into the chat with your other AI provider and paste results below to generate some starting memory. And then for the general access, load tools when needed is fine. Connector discovery, if you are looking for new ways to solve any kinds of issues, that would be also fine. Location metadata, I don't personally like it. For this, you need to have location turned on your machine as well. And then you need to allow artifacts, all kinds of them, and inline visualizations. Okay, so this is for the settings. Why do you actually use the Claude Chat? When you need to brainstorm, when you are not sure what exactly it is that you're looking for, when you need to look for something, to do some kind of web search, or you have some general questions that do not require Claude to create any kind of files, Chat is the best place for you. Ideally, you would use Chat first before you would understand what is the task in hand if there are any kinds of questions, right? So don't use bare chats. Use projects to save memory. I will show you the project that I'm using the most. This is Coupler AI PDM. This is my product coach. So what are projects? Why do you need them? Projects help you to scope everything that your LLM can do for you, because LLM, large language model, which is in our case Opus 4.7, is jack of all trades. It can do everything. And to make it do some specific things, it's better to narrow its scope. How do you narrow its scope, right? You create a project. So you give it an instruction. Obviously, I don't write them myself. I ask Claude to write those kind of instructions. And in projects, usually the instructions are who I am, what is it that I need Claude to do, what are the approaches, guidelines, and things like that, what are the expected tasks, what are the expected outcomes. So any kind of specifics are not the part of the project instructions. So project instructions should be short, and all of the details should go to skills, which I will cover in a bit. Okay, so here's my project instruction. I'm a product manager, and this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm going to share with you. This is the coaching approach, expected outcomes, and some additional details about my specific use case. Another great thing about projects is this knowledge base, the project files. So you can either add files or add text content or connect GitHub or some specific Google Drive docs. That would be the part of your instruction. To have GitHub or Google Drive, you need to connect those to Claude first. How do you connect them? Here in the left side navigation, you have this customize button, and it serves you for skills and connectors. Let's start with connectors. Connectors are MCP servers that you connect. And first and foremost, of course, I have Coupler.io MCP server, and you see it mentions all of the tools, and I have different policy for those tools. And well, you can ask for approval all the time, or you can allow everything, or you can even forbid MCP to forbid your LLM to use some of those tools, right? So I have a bunch of different connectors installed, and there are a ton of connectors in general. So when you would click here, you would see many different connectors, and you should connect everything that is every tool that you use, if it is not forbidden by your organizational admins. So these are connectors. Connectors connect MCPs, and MCPs act as hard skills for LLM, meaning that when you connect the Google Calendar MCP, for example, it will be able to create meetings, to check your availability and things like that. For Gmail, it will be able to check your emails, and it will be also able to send emails, read your emails, and things like that. Skills. Okay, skills are very cool thing because they serve as your LLM guides. So skill is a step-by-step workflow that allows your agent to do some specific thing. Let me show you an example here. So this skill helps you to create a live artifact, a part of Cowork that we'll cover later, based on Coupler.io data. So as you can see, I will be scrolling this. It has step 1, step 2, and all of the steps are very detailed, step 3, and it goes on and on and on, and skills can be quite long. They can have some reference files like here, and they serve as some repetitive work shortcuts. So for example, if you're doing something for a couple of times in your Claude instance, it is a good thing to create a skill and ask Claude to create a skill with you. All Claude instances have inbuilt skill creator skill that allows Claude to create skills. There are also plugins. Plugins are available only in Cowork and Code, and plugins are essentially a collection of different skills, prompts, and also MCP integrations. So it is just a bundle for easier work. Cowork is the second flavor of Claude. So what's good about Cowork? it is much more autonomous than Chat. Chat is purely reactive. You ask it something, it gives you some answer, but that's pretty much it. For Claude Cowork, it gives you much more. It gives you files, and also it gives you some of the coolest things like scheduled reports or scheduled queries, anything, and live artifacts.